Thanks for clicking on this video. My name is Justin Crawford from BoldTV, and today I'm so excited to bring in the Zoom room one of my buddies, Luke Pell, from serving in the U.S. Army to appearing on ABC's Bachelorette to now doing his own thing in the entrepreneurial world. There is probably nothing this man has not done, and I'm so excited to catch up with him and see what he's been up to since the COVID-19 crisis has kind of taken over all of our worlds. Luke, welcome, man. Welcome to the digital version of Bold Life. I'm so excited to talk with you, to check in, see how things are going, but ultimately get your perspective on everything COVID-19 and quarantine, man. This stuff is nuts.
Yeah, Justin, it's good to be here. Good to catch up. This COVID-19 2020 is really started off to a wild ride. So like we were talking about earlier, it's just day by day right now. There's new changes and you're watching, your personal life is evolving, but also our community and then the whole world is really evolving and change is happening before our eyes every day. So it's really interesting times to be in for sure.
Yeah, and for you personally, what came to mind, man, when this all started happening? What were some of the first things that you thought you were going to do to stay sane or wanted to do before, I guess, because we didn't know how long this was going to last, and here we are a month and some change into it. So what kind of hit mind at first?
Yeah, well, when I realized there was going to be some time off just from the daily grind and not being able to even, go about your normal activities, I wanted to spend some time home at Texas. So that's the best place to quarantine for me, for sure. And
Your family is, right?
yeah, my family's down there. We have, a family ranch, and my parents raised cattle and farm and ranch and everything down there. So, I spent a couple of weeks down there and just tried to kind of recenter and reevaluate life a little bit and stay truly quarantined and take the social distancing thing to another level because it's several hundred acres out there. So it's just cows and tractors and my parents. So we're good to go.
Dude, that's refreshing as heck, though. I feel like to leave a busy city like Nashville, New York, Los Angeles, you were in Nashville before that, but to get a little bit of time and go see the family and chill out on a ranch, that had to have been refreshing.
Yeah, so great. Always great to be back home and, of course, see family and everything as long as it's safe. And we were able to do that. So, yeah, that was a good point for me. And that made the first couple of weeks of this whole thing go by pretty quickly. But eventually you get to, like we talked about too earlier, is every day's a little bit different. You have some days you're like, well, I love being off and not having anything to do and social distancing is awesome. And then other days you're like, man, this is really taking a toll on me and on the community around me and other small businesses and those type of things. So it's definitely a roller coaster.
Yeah. How have you managed? I mean, we're both workout junkies. I saw a couple of IG lives that you did, but how have you managed to stay physically fit, man? This is not ideal for any of us.
Yeah, I mean, obviously all the gyms are closed. Yep. And, before this, I was training for a charity boxing event out in LA. I was supposed to fight in the ring some of these other reality TV guys for charity. That was supposed to happen, I think, actually this week. It was like April 21st or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, that got canceled. And up until that point, I was training for that at a boxing gym every day, almost twice a day sometimes, and trying to get in shape. And then all that came to an abrupt end, and now you can't even get into any type of gym. So you got a kettlebell sitting in my kitchen right now, and so that's kind of what the gym has become. So,
but Luke, man, so you've kind of gotten into the entrepreneur world too. That's something we talked about when we first met. You were singing, and touring, and still staying involved with the veterans,
right?
Through the military. But now you kind of launched your own companies, and you have, how have those been holding up during all this?
Like a lot of small businesses, and I'm sure some people have it worse than others, but, we've definitely taken some significant hits, and it's been truly tough financially. And you try to stay positive, but also realistic about it and try to figure out ways to, be truly entrepreneurial. And the word entrepreneurs, this is when you get tested to, really be entrepreneurial, is how to survive when things don't go right and how to make things work for you. And so, I had Airbnbs that I host downtown Nashville. which are always full of people for bachelorette parties and birthdays and concerts and all these people that travel to town here. And so like the Airbnb world, for instance, it's just completely non-existent, like just refunds for 3 months straight. You know what I'm saying? And so people that either own or they're subleasing, different real estate units now are just stuck with empty real estate units as a small business owner and nobody to fill them, and so that's just here in Nashville that I see locally and that I'm dealing with personally. And luckily, the one business I have is I'm a co-owner in a moving company, and that's, it's slowed, but it's still, considered an essential business. And so people are still closing on homes and moving and those type of things. So we're still, doing some moves and things like that. But small businesses, it's a tough time to do it for sure. And Nashville has been hit very hard because everything in Nashville, not everything, but the majority of the industry here revolves around tourism and entertainment. And so all those things have come to a screeching halt. So it's really been interesting to watch, and it's been hard to watch all the people around you, all my musician friends that, have shows scheduled, they're canceling them, postponing them, festivals. I mean, everything has just kind of gone dark.
And I think we all just kind of have to hold on to faith at this point too, hoping that you can prepare. We couldn't have prepared for something like this, but you can surely prepare for what's to come after it. And if that means, like you said, buckling down and really preparing for, the reopening of Airbnbs and the re-upping of concerts. And I mean, we're even talking not hosting festivals until 2021 and such. So everybody says like back to a normal, it's going to be a new normal regardless. And I hope that your businesses get back up. I feel like people are still going to be moving and people are still going to want to travel. I mean, you hear it from everybody, and people that we've interviewed, to friends, people are saying that they want nothing more than to travel as soon as this thing is over. So hopefully to Nashville, and then, to kind of re-up your businesses in that sense. But I want to talk about the veterans. Have you still managed to stay involved with maybe some charity work for that? I know you were going to do the boxing charity event, which was probably something different, but have you managed to stay involved with the military at all during all this?
Yeah. So, I guess like we talked about the silver lining, and this is one of those is, so our charity, the main one that I work with is Creative Vets. And we do, it's for songwriting and the arts, for veterans that are, have been wounded, have spent significant time getting over PTSD. And it's kind of a therapy to help them tell their story through arts and music. And so that one's very near and dear to my heart. It's here in Nashville. Now it's going on 6 years since its creation. And the good thing about Creative Vets is we're evolving. And in this time, it's kind of forced us to find ways to connect with veterans, because usually we have a partnership with Wounded Warrior Project. We bring in veterans every month prior to this happening. And they go through a songwriting kind of clinic with professional songwriters here in Nashville. They go to a studio, get their songs played by professional musicians. They get to write the song backstage at the Grand Ole Opry and just really get a full experience of what Nashville is and to tell their story. So that program was shut down, but during that, we've started streaming, significant streaming, almost 8 to 10 hours a day. And we're going to have a 24-hour streaming day coming up soon, where we have programming throughout the day for people that are giving art classes or songwriting classes, or I was doing some workout classes, all through our streaming platforms. And we're able to do that with the technology and the sponsorships that we've been given. So we're excited to be able to evolve with the challenging times and still stay connected with these veterans. And hopefully this will even allow us to connect with more veterans, because we've been forced to do streaming and use digital platforms that can reach farther out into the ranks of veterans out there. So, yeah.
Dude, I didn't even know you were doing that. I'm always in awe with how you're staying involved and helping other people, man. That's great. So at least what's the unique thing about technology right now is just that. We have streaming platforms. We have social media. I booked you through social. So it's like, people are online now, and I think that there's ways to not only make money through it eventually, but that's a silver lining in and of itself right now for all people, is that we can still kind of go about how we were helping people and like connecting and working with people. We can do a lot of it online, although we need to do most of it in person still. So
Sure.
it's good to hear, man. So music, we met 2 years ago, probably more than 2 years ago now, you know, in Georgia. Dude, are you still working on music? I know you're helping other people do it, but can we expect new music, man? I still think best thing I've ever done is that's always gonna be one of my top, man. But
Yeah.
what's going on with musician Luke Pell?
Yeah, you know, that is such a marathon. You just continue doing, you know, what you love. And so, I mean, during the quarantine, I've been able to continue writing songs. There's a lot of songwriters here in Nashville. You know, the grind continues, and it's through Zoom meetings and ways to write, send songs around digitally. And, you know, a guitar player will put his part on it and email it back to the drummer, and he'll put his part on it. And so that's really cool to see that kind of happen. I'm actually recording a song right now to put out whenever we get ready to release it. It'll probably be in the next probably 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. So we just started recording that this past week, actually, and I'm really excited about it. It's fun. It's a song that I think relates to me more than, you know, it kind of pulls nostalgia out of me and my upbringing more than any other song that I've ever put out to this point. And so I'm really excited about it, and it's gonna be fun, and hopefully, you know, all this quarantine will be over by the time the song comes out. We'll be able to be out and play it for people, and it'll be fun.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Again, back to technology. This is where people are now using the most of it and making the most of it, rather.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Absolutely.
That's great. What's the one thing you think you're going to be up to as soon as this is over? If you had to pick one thing, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I could do it still under quarantine if you had the right number of people, but the lake, I'm looking forward to the lake.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time on the lake. And so that's one of my favorite times, I think, is just being out there on the water. And yeah, can't wait for that.
Why don't you produce a music video on the water, man? You could probably, the song that you're about to come out with, do it at the lake.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's great, man. Luke, I'm glad we got to check in with you. I hope your family's safe, all your loved ones, everybody doing all right?
Yeah, everyone's doing very well. You know, my sister's out in Orange County, and my parents, like I said, are in Texas, and they're doing well, hanging in there. So a lot of FaceTimes and checking in right now. So
that's all right, man. Well, thank you for chatting with me and letting us catch up with you, man. It's always good to see you. Can't wait to see you in New York, or I'll come down to Nashville. I always text you when I'm down there.
Yes, sir.
Meet up and stuff. So good to see you again, man. And again, we're always happy to follow you. We're excited to see what you're doing. You're always doing something new, and it's always for the better good of people, even your entrepreneur companies that you've launched. So good luck with all of that. I hope and pray that that stuff works out as soon as this crisis is over, man. And again, thanks. It was good to talk to you.
Thank you, Justin.